Welcome back to another edition of Music Monday from the podcast Nurture the Mind by yours truly. I am your podcast host, Cole Poots. Okay, so today, Miller, can you get out of the camera? Today we are going to be checking out a new project. I'm only going to listen to one song from this project, but I've been hearing really good reviews about this project. I'm not even going to hesitate. It is The Pink Tape by Lil Uzi Vert.
Who are you?
I'm Lil Uzi Vert, from Philadelphia.
And I've heard about this one specific song titled CS, and I don't know if it's like a cover or it's like a mashup of Chop Suey by System of a Down, but that is one of my favorite songs of all time across all genres. System of a Down is just such an amazing band. So I am very curious to see how this song plays out, even more curious to dive into the whole project, but today we're just going to do CS and we're going to see where it takes us. So without further ado, this is the song CS. It is 3 minutes and 32 seconds off of the album The Pink Tape by Lil Uzi Vert. Okay. Here we go. This is different. I mean, same instrumental, but obviously Lil Uzi is a rapper, so what's he gonna bring to this song? Is that Autotune? I can't really tell. It must be. I love that part, man. That's where it sounds super melodic. His voice. It kind of sounds quiet. This instrumental sounds slightly different than the original song. I like it. It's a different take. All right, interesting. CS by Lil Uzi Vert off of The Pink Tape. So yeah, I mean, obviously the instrumental is basically the same as Chop Suey from System of a Down, but it sounds slightly different. Like, I don't know how to put it. It sounded kind of quiet. I don't know if you guys would agree with me on that front. There were certain parts about that song that didn't really seem too amplified. And I'm talking about the instrumental, not really his voice. And he kept lyrics somewhat the same from that original song. At least the lyrics were pretty much the same all throughout the song. And then in the beginning, it was his own set of lyrics. And there at the end, I think those were also his own set of lyrics. Interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I don't hate it, and I wouldn't say it's cringeworthy. I would not say that. I don't know if it's because it's my first listen. It doesn't necessarily feel like his voice fits the song. At least like the wake up part, like that sounded out of tune for me. And I'm not talking about his voice. It just kind of felt like it didn't fit. But there were parts in that song where he got more melodic, and I'm assuming that he used Autotune, and it actually sounded really good with the track. So there are some highlights to it. It's just weird. It's weird when you take a rapper and they try and cover a song that is obviously, I don't know, System of a Down was definitely rock and roll, but probably a little bit of metal as well, maybe alternative, but they had a lot of heavy songs. And so it's weird when you blend the genres. It's either that it'll work out super well, like I think it has in the case of, I've talked so many times on the channel about Falling in Reverse and Ronnie Radke. Ronnie has almost created, a genre of his own by his ability to rap and to explore that as an avenue. But they're a band and they have instruments, and so somehow those two elements come into sync with each other. And again, I'm not saying that Lil Uzi doesn't fit on this song or isn't worthy of covering a song like this. I think it's just going to take a lot of people, a lot of getting used to that sound, because I'm going to assume that most of this album is still probably heavily rap and hip hop. But Lil Uzi, I don't know a ton about him, but what I do know about him is that he has his own unique style. And even though he is a rapper, he's a hip hop artist. I know he's influenced by punk rock, just by the way that he dresses. And so, probably as an artist, even though you come up in a certain genre, you find your niche, you find your thing that like really works for you. I think artists, and I definitely feel this as a creative, is every once in a while, like, you want to branch out, you want to try something new. And so it's actually really not that uncommon nowadays. Like, we saw it with MGK going over to the pop punk alternative route when he dropped Tickets to My Downfall and then Mainstream Sellout. And, people are going to hate on MGK because they're going to say, he's cringeworthy. And yeah, to some degree, I think he is a little bit cringeworthy, but I think he actually did a really good job in switching over to that genre. I don't know if he's better at that genre than rap, because he's been doing rap a lot longer, but specifically on those two albums, he had access to one of the best drummers in the world in Travis Barker, so I think that really helped his cause. And then the other example that's coming to my mind is Lil Yachty. He dropped an album earlier this year, I think that was, January or February, called Let's Start Here. And so, he came up as a rapper in the hip hop scene. But that album, there is some rapping, but I would say it's a lot more subtle. And there's definitely some psychedelic rock influences in there. So this is not uncommon. You see this with a lot of artists, and I commend any artist that tries to do something like this. Like, even if the consensus on this song, which I don't know what it is if most people think like, oh, this was a terrible song, like Lil Uzi should have never covered this song. Even if that is the case, if that's the accepted opinion that everybody goes towards, it's like, but you kind of have to respect the artist in being vulnerable in that sense. If it's not something that is predominantly their domain and they're taking a risk, like, I applaud that, man, because that's got to be really scary. It's super easy to fit into your own lane and to make an album or a sound of an album that you've made before in the past. But as I've stated in early videos, like, I don't think that's fulfilling in the creative process or to the artist, because then it's like, well, yeah, like, I know this formula works, but you just beat that formula dry, and then you never feel like you're advancing or you're growing or you're trying different things. It's like, why not put yourself out there? Why not be like, who says that you can't be a freaking rapper, but then in that lane cover a rock song, you know, that has stood the test of time in its own genre? I think it's cool, man. I'm gonna have to go through it and listen to it a few more times just to get like my real like 2 cents of the track. I would say like the highlight for me was when Lil Uzi was doing harmonies and playing with his voice on the Autotune. I think that was the best part of the song. And the instrumental, I mean, not as good as the original song, but that instrumental is a banger. Like the original Chop Suey instrumental. So those are my thoughts. Those are my opinions. Let me know if you guys have listened to the song, if you've listened to the project, if you liked it. I've heard, like I said, really good reviews. Like my brother and I were talking about it last weekend, and he was like, dude, like you should really check it out. So eventually I'll get through the entire album. But yeah, give me your thoughts, give me your opinions if you've listened to it. What'd you think? And as always, if you guys are new to the channel, then please subscribe to the channel, like my videos, share the content. If you got something of value from what I was talking about, then share it with one of your friends. And then also, if you have any suggestions on music that you would like me to check out in the future, put that down in the comment section below, and eventually I will get to it. With all of those things being said, when you interact with my videos and my channel, that really helps push my content out into the YouTube algorithm, which then gets in front of you guys and then gets in front of more people, more eyeballs. And it's just the best way to help me grow this channel because, you know, when you're reviewing music, I mean, I'm not monetized yet. My channel is not big enough for that, but you can't make money off of these videos because I'm listening to music. There's that copyright issue. So eventually I'd have to get a Patreon and make money that way. But I would just appreciate it if you guys would support my channel in any way, shape, or form, whether that be liking, sharing, any of those things, subscribing. It all really helps push the message out there. So thank you guys so much for the support. I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. See ya.